Anna Reeves could barely keep her eyes open as the wind pushed against her like an unseen hand. The cold was no longer just around her. It had moved inside her bones. Her breath came out in short, broken pulls, each one scraping her throat raw. Her legs shook with every step, but she forced them forward anyway. Stopping meant lying down. Lying down meant never getting back up. Snow stung her face and blurred her vision until the world became nothing but white movement and shadow. Her fingers slipped numb at her sides. Her thoughts scattered like paper torn loose in storm. Fear and exhaustion tangled together until she could no longer tell where one ended and the other began. Then, through the white blur, something dark took shape. A structure, solid, still a cabin. Anna tried to call out, but her voice cracked before it left her lips. The last of her strength carried her forward. She did not remember reaching the door. She only remembered the sound of wood beneath her hand, then nothing at all. So warmth struck her all at once. The door opened and heat rushed over her face, her chest, her frozen skin. Before she could fall, strong arms caught her, arms solid and sure, lifting her as if she weighed nothing. Her cheek pressed against something firm and warm, a chest broad as a tree trunk. The scent of smoke and pine filled her lungs. The door shut behind them, sealing out the storm. "Easy now," a deep voice said, low and steady. A voice that did not fight the storm, but knew it well. "You're safe." Her knees gave out, but the man held her without strain. He carried her across the room and lowered her near a bright fire set into a stone hearth. Orange light flickered across rough wood walls. Her soaked boots thudded softly against the floor. She tried to speak. Only a weak sound came out. "Thank you." "Don't talk yet," the man said. His hands were careful as he guided her into a chair. Gentle despite their size, he moved away, steps heavy but quiet, and returned with thick blankets and a steaming mug. "Drink." She lifted her hands, but they shook too badly. He steadied them with one of his own. His palm wrapped around hers completely, warm and strong. The drink burned its way down her throat, coffee sharp and rich, with just enough whiskey to send heat blooming through her chest. "Who are you?" she whispered. He crouched in front of her, studying her face as if measuring how close she was to slipping away. His eyes were clear steel blue, calm, watchful, eyes that had seen long winters and worse things. "I don't even know you," she said. "You will," he replied, "if you want to." That night, Anna slept wrapped in warmth she had not expected to find. When she woke, the fire crackled softly. The storm still muttered outside, but the cabin was quiet and safe. Boone's shirt hung loose on her small frame, smelling faintly of smoke and pine. She sat up as strength returned to her limbs. Outside the window, Boone split logs in the falling snow. Each swing of the axe was steady and controlled. The sight calmed her more than the fire. He brought in wood, brushed snow from his shoulders, and poured coffee. "You slept hard," he said. "I was very tired." He set a plate of biscuits and berry preserves on the table. "Eat." As she ate, he watched without staring, as if simply making sure she was real. "Why would a woman from the East come all the way out here to teach?" he asked. "Hollow Creek's a hard place," Anna said, setting the biscuit down. "I wanted a life that mattered." She told him about her father, the bank, the whispers, her mother's sickness, and how the town had turned its back on her. Boone listened without interruption, his jaw tight. "Took courage to leave," he said. "It took fear," she answered, "fear of staying." They spent the day in quiet work. She mended shirts, he repaired a harness. when he played a fiddle by the fire. The sound filled the cabin with memories she could not name, and tears slipped down her cheeks before she could stop them. Later, as night fell again and the storm raged on, Boone prepared the bed with thick quilts. "You take the left side," he said. "Warmer there." "Just sleep," Anna said softly. "Just sleep," he agreed. The storm howled outside, but inside the cabin, something steady began to form. A fragile trust, a warmth deeper than fire. And Anna knew that when the storm finally broke, nothing in her life would ever be the same again. Morning came slow and pale. The storm still held the land, but it had lost its anger. The wind no longer screamed against the cabin walls. It sighed instead, tired and thin. Anna woke before Boone this time. She lay still for a moment, listening to his steady breathing on the other side of the bed. It calmed her in a way she did not expect. She eased herself up and crossed the room quietly. The fire had burned low, but warmth still clung to the air. She added a log the way she had seen Boone do and watched the flames rise. The simple act made her feel useful again. Boone stirred and sat up, running a hand through his dark hair. "Morning, teacher," he said, voice rough with sleep. "Morning," he smiled faintly, then stood and stretched. "Storm's easing. Might ride to town tomorrow if it keeps breaking." Her heart gave a small sharp pull. Relief and something else tangled together. Tomorrow meant leaving this place, leaving him. They ate breakfast in quiet comfort. Boone checked the windows, the roof, the barn. Anna helped where she could, sweeping, folding blankets, mending more clothes. The day passed slower than the last, heavy with things unspoken. That evening, Boone returned from checking the trail with a look she could not read. "Road's clearing faster than I thought," he said. "We'll go first thing in the morning." Anna nodded. "That's good." But her voice lacked certainty, and Boone noticed. "You'll be glad to reach Hollow Creek," he said gently. "Your life's there." She met his eyes. "I know." That night, sleep came harder. The storm outside faded, but the quiet inside pressed close. Anna lay awake, staring at the dark ceiling. "Boone," she whispered. He turned slightly. "Yes." "What happens after tomorrow?" He was quiet a long moment. "You teach, you build your place in town. Life goes on." "And you?" He exhaled slowly. "I go back to the cabin." The words sat heavy between them, and it turned onto her side facing him. Moonlight touched the edge of his face. "Does it have to be that simple?" she asked. "Sometimes it is. Sometimes it doesn't have to be," she said. Boone did not answer. He stared ahead, jaw tight, as if wrestling something deep inside himself. Morning broke clear and cold. The sky stretched wide and blue, the land shining white and new. Boone saddled 2 horses. Anna bundled herself tight, her satchel secured behind her. The ride to Hollow Creek took hours. The silence between them was not empty, but full. When the town finally came into view, smoke rising from chimneys, Anna's chest tightened. Children played near the schoolhouse. Wagons lined the main road. Life moved on, unaware of the storm that had nearly taken her. Boone dismounted first and helped her down. His hands lingered only a moment at her waist. "I'll see you settled," he said. The boarding house owner greeted Anna with surprise and relief. Word had spread of the delayed teacher. Questions followed. Concern, warm smiles. Boone stood back, quiet and watchful. When it was done, Anna turned to him. "Thank you," she said. "For everything," he tipped his hat. "Take care, Anna." She watched him ride away until his broad back blended into the white hills. Only then did she realize how much of her heart had gone with him. Days passed, then weeks. Anna threw herself into teaching. The children were eager, hungry for learning. Parents thanked her often. The town welcomed her fully. But each evening, as the light faded, her thoughts returned to the cabin and the man who lived there alone. Boone did not come to town. On the 10th day, he finally did. She was closing the schoolhouse when she heard boots behind her. She turned, and her breath caught. Boone stood there, hat in hand. "Evening, teacher," he said. "You came," she said, unable to hide the warmth in her voice. "Promised I would." They walked together through town, careful, quiet. At the edge of the road, he stopped. "How are you settling in?" he asked. "Busy, tired, happy." She hesitated. "But I miss the quiet sometimes." He smiled faintly. "Cabin still standing if you ever want to visit." Before she could answer, another voice cut through the air. "Well, now, if it isn't Boone Walker." A man stepped from the shadows, tall, thin, dressed finer than most men in Hollow Creek. His smile did not reach his eyes. Boone stiffened. "Levi Crane." Anna felt the tension shift at once. "Ma'am," Levi said smoothly, "you must be the new teacher. I've heard about you." She nodded politely. "Welcome to Hollow Creek." "Just passing through," Levi said. "But I always like to keep track of old friends." "We're not friends," Boone said. Levi chuckled softly. "Funny how the past never agrees." His eyes slid back to Anna. "Careful who you trust out here." Boone stepped forward. "Leave her out of this." Levi raised his hands. "Easy. No harm meant. Just paying respects." He tipped his hat and walked away, boots echoing on the frozen road. Anna turned to Boone. "Who was that?" "Someone I hoped was gone for good." They walked in silence until they reached the edge of town. Boone stopped and faced her. "There's something you should know," he said. "About me." She waited. "After the war, I fell in with men who made bad choices. Levi was one of them. I walked away, but not everyone forgives that." Anna searched his face. "Are you in danger?" "Maybe, maybe not. But if he's here, it's not by chance." Fear touched her, sharp and sudden. Not for herself, but for Boone. "What do we do?" Boone shook his head. "Nothing yet. Just stay aware." "I'm not afraid of your past," she said. He looked at her then. "Really?" "You should be." She stepped closer. "I see who you are now." The next morning, dust rose on the ridge. Riders approached town. Anna saw them from the schoolhouse window and felt her heart sink. Boone arrived moments later, placing himself in front of her without hesitation. "Go inside," he said quietly. She shook her head. "I'm staying." Levi dismounted, smiling coldly. "Thought you'd run, Walker." "Not anymore." Levi's eyes flicked to Anna. "She deserved to know who you really are." Boone spoke first. "I made mistakes. I paid for them. I won't let you bring trouble here." Levi laughed and drew his gun. Before he could aim, men stepped into the road. Farmers, ranchers, fathers of Anna's students. "This town stands together," one said. Levi's smile faded. He looked around, calculating. Then he holstered his gun. "This isn't over," he warned. "Huh." Boone didn't blink. "It is for you." Levi rode off, his men following. Anna turned to Boone and wrapped her arms around him without thinking. He froze, then held her carefully. "You didn't have to face this alone," she said. He rested his forehead against her hair. "I never expected anyone to stand with me again." That night, under a quiet sky, Boone took her hands. "I don't want to go back to being alone," he said. "Not now. Not after you." Her heart raced. "Boone, I don't know what tomorrow holds," he continued, "but I know what I want." She looked up at him, breath trembling. "Then we'll face tomorrow together," she said. The choice had been made, though neither spoke it aloud. And somewhere beyond the hills, danger still watched and waited, unwilling to let the past stay buried. The night after Levi rode away did not bring peace. Anna lay awake in her narrow boarding room, staring at the ceiling while the wind whispered outside the window. Every sound felt louder than it should have been. A step on the stairs, a door closing somewhere below. Her mind replayed Levi's smile again and again, sharp and knowing. At dawn, she rose early and walked to the schoolhouse. Teaching helped steady her. The children's voices, their questions, their laughter filled the room and pushed fear back into its corner. Still, her eyes drifted to the windows more than once. By midday, Boone arrived. He did not come quietly this time. He came prepared. Anna saw him speaking with Sam Hartwell and two other men outside the schoolhouse. Their faces were serious. When Boone noticed her watching, he excused himself and walked toward her. "You all right?" he asked. "I was about to ask you the same." He nodded once. "Levi won't give up easy. Men like him don't walk away unless they have to." "What does that mean for us?" Boone held her gaze. "It means I won't leave town again. Not until I'm sure he's gone for good." Her heart warmed at the words, then tightened. "You don't have to stay for me." "I know," he said, "but I want to." That afternoon, Boone moved his horse into town and stayed with Sam. Word spread quickly. Some people were uneasy, but most stood with Boone. He had helped many of them over the years, even from a distance. Fixed fences, pulled wagons from snowdrifts, never asked for payment. That night, Anna heard a knock at her door. It was Boone. "I didn't want you alone tonight," he said. "Sam's keeping watch, but still." She let him in without hesitation. They sat at the small table, a lantern casting soft light between them. "Do you regret coming to Hollow Creek?" he asked quietly. She shook her head. "No, even with all this fear, I don't." He studied her face. "You could leave. No one would blame you." "I won't run because someone wants to scare me," she said. "And I won't leave because of your past." Boone's breath hitched. "You don't know how much that means." The knock came again, louder this time. Boone stood at once. Sam's voice came through the door. "Boone. Tracks west of town? Fresh." Boone's jaw tightened. He grabbed his coat. Anna stood. "I'm coming." "No," Boone said firmly. "You stay here." She met his eyes. "I trust you. Come back." He nodded once. "I will." The men rode out under a moonless sky. Anna waited, pacing the small room. Minutes stretched into hours. Just before dawn, a shout echoed through the street. Anna rushed to the window. Boone was there, standing in the road. His coat was torn. Blood marked his sleeve, but he stood tall. She ran outside. "It's over," he said before she could speak. "Levi won't be back." "What happened?" He looked down at his arm. "He came for me, tried to draw me away from town. We ended it before anyone else got hurt." Her hands shook as she touched his sleeve. "Are you badly hurt?" "Just a cut. I've had worse." Tears filled her eyes, holding him tight. He wrapped one arm around her, careful but sure. "I thought I lost you," she whispered. He rested his chin against her hair. "I promised you I am still here." The town gathered as the sun rose. Questions were asked, answers given. Levi Crane was gone, heading far from Hollow Creek, with no desire to return. Life slowly settled back into its rhythm. Days turned into weeks. Boone stayed. He helped repair the schoolhouse roof. He walked Anna home each evening. Sometimes they spoke. Sometimes they simply walked in silence, content in each other's presence. One evening, Boone asked her to ride with him. They went back to the cabin. The place looked the same, yet different, less lonely, as if it had been waiting. "You don't have to come back here," Anna said softly. "Not if you don't want to." Boone looked around the room. "I built this place thinking I wanted to be alone. Turns out I just hadn't met the right person yet." He took a breath, steadying himself. "Anna Reeves," he said, "I won't pretend I'm an easy man to love. My past won't disappear. But if you're willing, I'd like to build a life with you. Not hiding, not running. Right here." Her heart pounded. "I came west looking for purpose," she said. "I found it in the schoolhouse. And I found something else in you." She reached for his hand. "Yes." Boone exhaled sharply, emotion breaking through his careful calm. He pulled her close, holding her as if anchoring himself to the moment. They married in spring. The whole town came. Children filled the aisle with wildflowers. Sam stood beside Boone, and his students sang off-key and proud. Afterward, Boone and Anna rode back to the cabin together. It no longer felt like a place of survival. It felt like home. And when winter returned, the storms came again, fierce and unforgiving. But inside the cabin, warmth held steady, not just from fire and walls, but from two people who had chosen to stand together, no matter how hard the wind blew.